Christine.
I'm Natasha.
And today we're doing the beginning of 2016 winter movie reviews. We're gonna review the movies we've seen this quarter of the year, so you know which ones you should see if you haven't seen them yet, and so if you have seen them, we can discuss. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I finally get to be one of these videos.
So Room, what were your thoughts?
Traumatizing.
Yeah. It's like Revenant except for your emotions and not for physicality.
We were just like crying the
was
entire time.
It was really, really good. The acting was so good. That little kid, he should have been nominated for an Oscar. Brie Larson, very well deserved.
But the little boy.
Oh my God, I was so impressed.
Yeah.
I'm really glad I saw it. I would have been happy if that won Best Picture. It is like an emotional, so don't go into it if you want like a chill movie.
Seeing how the mom created this life with this little boy was so
very
creative.
interesting. I mean, you probably know the concept. You know, they're stuck in this room. It's insane to kind of see from his perspective. What would you give it grade?
An A+.
A+. Spotlight. It won the Academy Award for
Best Movie!
Picture. Best Picture!
Picture is such a fancy word.
They call it picture in the fancy places like the Oscars.
Talking pictures.
So if you're not aware, Spotlight's the story of the scandal with the Catholic Church that went on
Everywhere.
But
before this concentrated on Boston.
It happened for a very long time, but this movie takes place in 2001. This movie kind of read like a documentary to me.
It did.
Not read. Watched. I enjoyed it, and I think Mark Ruffalo was fantastic in it. I think he deserved to win a supporting role Oscar, even though the guy in Bridge of Spies, he was really good.
They were both named Mark, and so when they called out
Mark, and Mark was like,
the other Mark.
That sucks, and that would have happened to anyone, you know?
I thought the movie was really interesting because I didn't really know this part in their culture.
Oh my God, I come from a Catholic family, and they just like didn't share this because we were young. I was 11.
Yeah.
You were 10 or 9, 8, 7. Gotta do that math. But everyone was talking about it, and I didn't understand what it was. They were making jokes, and I was like, wait, I don't understand what's happened.
You remember this?
I remember this kind of. Yeah, there was so many jokes. I would ask, I was like, what are you talking about? And they would be like, you don't know what's happening with the Catholic Church and the priests? Oh. They'd make like pedophile jokes a lot.
It's just, it's kind of like eye-opening and sickening at the same time.
Yeah, at the end, they show like all the places where this happened, and
everywhere.
I couldn't believe it.
Like there was a town like right next to mine.
Yeah, me too. I couldn't believe I didn't know about it. So I highly recommend you watching it if you actually don't know about that. It's very eye-opening for those of us who were like too young to really understand what was going on. Yeah, what would you give it, Natasha?
A-.
Yeah, I'd give it an A-. How to Be Single. We saw this on Valentine's Day.
Galentine's Day for us.
Galentine's Day. It was fun. You know, it had good parts and it had parts that were just like, eh.
It was more of an emotional comedy.
But it wasn't really hitting the emotion that it wasn't to.
Yeah.
Like, it tried to be an emotional comedy, and parts of it were funny, and parts of it were just like, eh. I liked the girl from 50 Shades
Dakota Johnson
in it, but I feel like they switched storylines just in a weird way. We followed a bunch of different people, just not enough.
Yeah.
No one felt like a complete
story arc.
Yeah. There were some jokes that I liked, but not. I wanted to see more Alison Brie. She was in the movie, but like her story arc was the most interesting to me. I thought she was the most interesting character, actually. She had like the most quirks to her, but we kind of just
stayed on Dakota Johnson.
Yeah, and hers was kind of boring.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It was fun for the time.
It was fun for the time. This actually reminds me of another movie that I watched that I wasn't expecting to like as much as I did. With
Remember
Alison
you telling
Brie,
me?
Sleeping with Other People. It's called Sleeping with Other People, and Alison Brie was in it, and it was like limited release last year. I saw it on a plane, and it was rom-com-y. It was good. I recommend that one for like a interesting kind of rom-com-y watch. What would you give How to Be Single?
Probably a C+.
Yeah, C+, B-. Deadpool was a highly anticipated one for this beginning of the year.
Yes, I put it in my highly anticipated list.
Yeah, it was the first rated R
superhero movie. They
They
didn't have faith in this movie, so that's why they kept putting it off. Fox didn't have faith in this movie. So they kept putting it off. And then it did unbelievably well, and it was just like, yes!
It had really great great promo too.
Yes.
Like the dead poople or dead
skull poop. It was the emoji billboard.
That was great.
Yeah.
I wish I didn't know what it was about and what to expect. Everyone was like, oh my god, he's so funny. He talks to the camera. Yeah. And so when you're expecting that, it seems...
not as shocking.
It's not as shocking. It's not as interesting. I think my expectations of the humor were different. Like, a lot of crude humor.
So much crude humor.
And, like, I find the occasional rude joke funny, but most of the time kind of just... falls flat for me. Like, I can understand why it's funny, but I won't laugh out loud. So it wasn't like my favorite movie.
No, I liked it because it's my brother's like favorite superhero movie, and so I like it for him. I didn't like. There's a lot of blood, a lot of gore.
There's a lot of gore, and I had to like put my head down for a part. What I did really enjoy, my favorite part of the movie. This is gonna sound really stupid.
I know you're saying.
The beginning credit sequence was so fantastic.
It was.
The song was fantastic. The visual was fantastic. The actual credits were fantastic. And that was my favorite scene, the whole entire opening sequence. Yeah. Have you seen this man?
Someone from work took their children to go see the new Kung Fu Panda movie
at this time. I thought you were going to say Deadpool.
Okay, hold on. They were in the theater and the Deadpool credits started rolling. And so it's a theater filled with parents and their children.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
at least it doesn't get really bad for like, you know, at least 15 minutes.
And so many people were upset.
Oh my god.
Don't take your children to see this movie.
Don't take your children to see Deadpool. No. Grade?
Probably a B.
Yeah, I think I'd go with B too.
Yeah. The thing is, we saw that on the same day as How to Be Single. Like,
did we?
Yes, we did.
Oh my god.
It was our Valentine's Day. We saw Deadpool and then we saw How to Be Single.
I forgot that we saw those back to back. It was definitely better than How to Be Single. But How to Be Single was like more enjoyable to me as a human, just because I found some parts funny. Deadpool, I laughed at the beginning section. Those credits. The Revenant, which you did not see.
I didn't see that one.
But I want to quickly talk about. The Revenant was like Room except physical. The emotional trauma you feel in Room, the physical trauma you feel in The Revenant. Like,
just like cringing.
I couldn't. And just the things that happened. I know it's just a movie, but I'm watching it and Leo did this shit. He's in the freezing cold. He just goes in the water and it's already snow and he just like walks into the river. And I'm just like, how are you alive right now? How is Leo doing this? Is he like waiting with a hot bath every time he's in a scene? How did he not get hypothermia? It just blew my mind. The state that they were in when they were filming, I can't imagine. Because they're out there in the wilderness. Just Leo like crawling through the snow, half dead, and I mean, I would recommend seeing it. I think it's something you have to see.
Well, he won his Oscar for this film.
He won his Oscar for this film. I think he definitely deserves it. I mean, I went with my friend Katie, and we're watching it like, how's this happening? There's this one scene, you know, with wounds, you have to like seal them with the gunpowder.
Yes.
And he has like a fuckload of wounds. And he's
already
the bear
like
attack? Half dead. Yeah. Okay. And he has to do that to himself. And that you guys know what scene I'm talking about if you saw it. And I was like, I'd give it an A. I wouldn't want to watch it again because it was like I was on that adventure with him. Like I can't imagine being him because being me was hard. The amount of times I yelled out during the movie was really ridiculous.
In like a crowded theater.
Yeah. Allegiant, thoughts?
It's better than I expected.
Yes, better than expected.
I thought they were just gonna slay the book and it was gonna be a terrible movie like Insurgent.
I mean,
Theo James is so hot.
It's like, you know what? The actors carried the movie. They just have good chemistry together.
They do. Yeah. And I remember I tweeted, I'm like, I forgot how hot Theo James was until I saw Allegiant.
What was your grade for Allegiant?
C+.
Another one that came out in February was Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. I know you're a huge Pride and Prejudice fan.
I am.
It's like your favorite movie.
It is.
But you didn't see Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
I didn't see it yet.
What's that about?
I didn't have him to see it when he saw it without me.
I know. I really wanted to see it, and you weren't available.
I know.
This is my favorite adaptation of Pride and Prejudice I've ever seen. I'm not a huge fan of Pride and Prejudice, though. So, like, having the zombies there added this whole new element where I was like, oh, this is interesting. But
how was, like, the Darcy-Elizabeth relationship?
See, I don't like this relationship ever.
I know.
But I liked it more in this one because it kind of had an element of humor to it because of the zombie fighting.
Like, because it's so not important with the zombies happening, right? Like, the relationship is so not important.
It's not as... I mean, it's there, and it is important-ish, but it's different because she's, like, this slayer. Like, she's fucking awesome. Okay. All the women, their fight scenes are the highlights of the movie. Like, when the girls all get out and start fighting, it's so cool. It's worth it just to watch that. Girl power. You know how he's like, oh, she's kind of simple, you know? He was not impressed by her, and then she, like, slays a bunch of zombies. He's like, well,
she's barely tolerable.
I have to second guess this first impression. My biggest complaint about this movie was it scared me shitless because it was loud.
Oh my gosh.
Every time a zombie showed up, there was gunshot that made me jump out of my seat.
I can only imagine
so
you.
Sudden. It was like all of a sudden like it starts off with Darcy killing a zombie, and it's so sudden and so... It was loud. It was like they pumped up the volume to 12. Oh, that's the highest volume.
12?
Like,
a scale of 1 to 10.
No. On audio, like when you're on Final Cut, you can bring it up to 12.
Oh, great. I would give it a B+.
Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. This is the movie with Tina Fey, and I was really excited to see it because I love me some Tina Fey. I was really pleasantly surprised. We saw this because we were going to see Allegiant because we thought it came out early at my theater, and we found out that it didn't. So
we're like, okay, Whiskey Tango Trot.
Whiskey Tango Trot. It's a hard title to say, but I really ended up enjoying this film. Usually in a war movie, it's more about what's going on than the actual characters, and I find this is the first time I connected with like a character, and like a lot of the characters I feel like were people, not just kind of tools to tell the
survival
plot.
Story.
Yeah,
I really liked it too. I was expecting it to be more of a comedy, and they definitely showed the funny parts in the trailer.
Oh, I didn't see the trailer much.
Oh, I saw the trailer a lot.
It definitely did bring out the humorous aspects of the situation they were in. A lot of like feminist-y comedy. It was an interesting character arc for our main character. I've never thought about journalism the way that we are made to think about it in this.
She was like one of the only women
female reporters out there. I'd definitely recommend it. So what would you give it a grade?
Probably a B.
I give it an A-. I liked it a lot. It's a very different film. Zootopia!
I love this film.
This film was just very unexpected. They did a really good job with the trailers because they showed nothing.
Nothing.
Like, next to nothing. They showed the sloth scene, which was one of the best funny
scenes. Frustrating though. I could not take it.
But I remember that's what sold me on the movie because the trailer before that was really weird. One character explained that Zootopia was a world where animals live and do jobs and stuff. It was strange. What was that song? The Shakira song?
I don't know. It was a new song.
Shakira
did the entire song. She was a character in the film. I love that Jennifer Goodwin was Officer Hobbs. Jennifer Goodwin plays Snow White.
The person who plays the fox. God, I always forget his
forget
name.
his name too.
God, the guy from Arrested Development. He's really good. It's best going into it, not knowing what it's about. It's not a funny movie, which I was expecting more of humor. It's more of like a serious message about the world today. And it's done in a really clever, interesting way.
I give it an A.
I'd give it like a B+, just because I like to laugh. I was expecting to laugh more than I did. I love the beginning when like, you can't be a policeman. And,
I know.
And then she proves that fucking wrong.
I loved all the bunnies.
I know.
I think I like this movie like more than
The Good Dinosaur. That wasn't that great.
I liked it more than Frozen.
Did you more than Frozen?
I did.
Oh, I liked Frozen better. Next, we have this highly anticipated movie. It wasn't very highly anticipated by me personally, but by the world.
Yes.
Like you felt highly
I
anticipated.
was very excited.
Batman versus
Superman.
Thoughts?
So, yeah.
Yeah. I just walked out of this movie like, that was a ridiculous movie. It was so long. There were 10-minute dream sequences. It was like a parody of dream sequences. That one dream sequence at the end where the Flash talking to him. Yeah. And they talked to him for like an hour.
It has stuff to do with like the comic book, so like I understand, but at the same time for like general audiences, they shouldn't have put in so many freaking dream sequences.
It just made the movie feel so drawn out.
My favorite parts or Batman.
I
love Ben
Affleck. Showdown between Batman and Superman.
Really?
Yeah.
I just didn't want that to happen. I really was against Batman vs Superman, and I knew what was going to happen.
Well, like, it was called Batman vs Superman.
But I didn't want it to happen.
Well, I just like that I didn't expect the way it went. You know, when you see the title, you're just like, this is stupid.
No, I knew exactly how it was going to go, so never mind.
I didn't know how it was going to go. Yeah. I didn't like the overall plot, how that came to be.
I didn't like how it was Lex Luthor's son.
I don't even know Lex Luthor. I'm not familiar.
Lex Luthor is like the arch nemesis to Superman. And it's Lex Luthor's son. It's not even Lex Luthor.
What did Lex Luthor do? The film looked nice, but that's not the most important aspect of the film. The most important aspect is the story.
My favorite part was picking Wonder Woman. Like, she
was
amazing.
Wonder Woman stole the show whenever she was in the scene. She had things handled, like, by herself at the end. And I was just like, give Wonder Woman the stick to finish this.
She looks so beautiful. She's, like, so Amazonian, and, like, she's as tall as Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill, so she just looks great standing next to them.
There's one cute scene with Amy Adams and Superman, but every other scene with Amy felt like, did this have to be here?
They just, like, used Amy as a damsel in distress.
Yeah.
Like, they tried to play it off that she wasn't, that she's, like, strong enough, but still.
But she always ended up screaming for Superman. Superman has, like, an Amy sense or something. An
Lois
Amy
Lane.
alarm. Oh, yeah.
That's her name, Lois Lane.
I don't know. Oh, my Amy senses are tingling!
Lois!
I'd give it a C-.
I give it a B.
I liked Batman. I agree that he was, like, the highlight of the overall film. Yeah. I just feel like the story was all over the place.
But Ben Affleck has been my favorite Batman, by far.
The Ben Affleck is sad interview.
Oh my gosh! You have to watch that.
Darkness.
I agree.
Poor Ben. Ben's directing the next one.
Yeah, he's directing.
He's great, so I'm higher hopes for that one.
I'm excited for the Wonder Woman standalone movie that we're finally going to get for the first time in history.
I feel like I know nothing about her history at all.
Yeah.
I used to watch the Justice League cartoon, but we don't learn about backstories. They're just there to save the world. She has her invisible jet, you know, it's like dotted line jet. And our last movie today is Everybody Wants Some! With Tyler Hoechlin. And a great cast, honestly. I really enjoyed the entire cast. I think they all did really good. The main guy, what's his name?
Jake.
Who was in Glee. Who was on that one season when they tried to introduce new people. And, you know, the girl who plays Superwoman was in it. And I liked those characters, and they just, like, chucked them away. He was great!
He was.
Everyone was great. The dialogue was so good. Tyler Hoechlin. Slay!
I love Tyler!
Oh, he's so beautiful, and he's just so good in a role outside of Derek.
Yes!
Like, he was good.
He was.
His acting
like
skills got to shine a little bit.
I was so excited for
I
him.
just loved all the scenes with him, with his competitiveness.
I was like, this is gold. He's so beautiful.
It was just a really nice glimpse into that time period, too. College in 1980.
It felt like we were in college with them.
Yeah. You get this nice slice of the culture, what they did on their Friday nights, and how kind of just like social interactions happen. Because it's so different without cell phones and without everything that we have today. And that's kind of when my parents would be around that age. So it was really interesting, like imagining them in these sorts of situations. Yeah. And all the baseball was just like really nostalgic for me because my family all plays baseball. And I just felt like, I don't know, I liked it. It was interesting.
Do you feel like baseball movies are your favorite types of sport movies?
Yes.
Mine too.
I love baseball movies. Compared to any other sports movies, I'm just like, eh.
Yeah.
And it's the only sport that I've played. Like, I used to play baseball with my family all the time. And I think, like, I never played, like, football.
That was the only game that Alex was, like, good in.
Baseball?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I used to be good at it compared to my sister. But I used to play with my cousins, and like it used to be really cool.
Definitely recommend. Go see that one.
See it. It felt like a really long pilot, and it didn't feel long, but it felt like a pilot to something that I would want to watch more of.
Yeah,
definitely. Like I'm interested in all these different characters, a lot of different types of people, and a lot of great dialogue, and it was funny.
It was very funny.
It was good.
Great costuming too.
Yes.
Like, they looked like they were in the time.
The shirts, like I've seen those in like old pictures. Just like of my family, and it's so weird.
The mustaches. My dad had a mustache.
Oh my god.
My dad looked
so
like
many
Tyler
people
Hoechlin.
had mustaches.
My grade is an A.
I give it an A too. And that concludes our first half of the year winter movies of 2016. I hope you enjoyed this. Let us know what your favorite movies have been this half of the year. I'm Christine.
I'm Natasha.
I have videos every Tuesday. I'll see you next time. Bye!